Okay, it's time to answer that age-old question that pops up every year. Hey Catholics, is Halloween really just a pagan holiday? Okay Catholics, so we should know the basics here. Halloween, or Hallows Eve, is the Christian, that's right, Christian festival, that's right, festival of the eve of All Saints' Day. So let's break that down really quickly. Halloween is a Christian festival. It's Christian because it can be traced to as early as 373 in Europe as a way to commemorate the martyrs of the Church, particularly the martyrs that arose from the persecution of Diocletian in 303. With so many parishes celebrating the feasts of their various martyrs and patronal saints throughout the year, the Church thought it would be prudent to have a common day of celebration in which we could celebrate all saints, particularly the martyrs. Now, when it began, it was celebrated in May and in some places in April. However, in the pontificate of Pope Gregory III, and that's from about 731 to 741, the day was moved to November 1st. And he moved it to November 1st because, well, that's when he founded an oratory for the relics of all the holy martyrs in St. Peter's Basilica. That's really it. Coincidentally, this happened to line up with the Celtic holiday of Samhain, which is similar to the ancient Roman festival of Lemuria, which is basically a harvest festival, to put it lightly. So those are the Christian origins of the Christian festival. That it happens to coincide with and assimilate ideas from pagan origins doesn't really matter much. The customs that existed around these time periods, rather than being completely destroyed, were absorbed into the Christian celebration. Deacon Matthew Newsom points out, like other places where it spread, Christianity did not seek to completely suppress the native culture or traditions. It condemned what was bad and evil in pagan cultures and preserved what was good and true, baptizing it as part of the universal Christian tradition. How fitting that the day on which the dead were traditionally reckoned to be closest to the living according to pagan tradition, the Church has set aside to remember those that have died in Christ. So anyone that wants to say that Halloween is really pagan in origin, in my mind, is making a non-statement. Not only is it historically dubious, but if you want to be technical, and I want to be technical, then anything that humans do can be traced back to pagan origin. Because we were pagans before we were anything else, historically speaking. And I want to turn to the perennial wisdom of G.K. Chesterton here. It is often said by the critics of Christian origins that certain ritual feasts, processions, or dances are really of pagan origin. They might as well say that our legs are of pagan origin. Nobody ever disputed that humanity was human before it was Christian, and no church manufactured the legs with which men walked or danced, either in a pilgrimage or in a ballet. What can really be maintained, so as to carry not a little conviction, is this: that where such a church has existed, it has preserved not only the processions, but the dances, not only the cathedral, but the carnival. One of the chief claims of Christian civilization is to have preserved things of pagan origin. The Church tests everything and retains what is good. That this holiday exists commercially as a secular festival to dress up and get free candy from neighbors does not in any way inhibit our ability to celebrate what is sacred about this day. So ultimately my question is this: if ancient pagan festivals happen to coincide with the Feast of All Saints, so what? We shouldn't be asking ourselves if this day is too pagan to celebrate. We should instead be asking, how can I preserve what is sacred about this day and celebrate that in my own home and preserve the Feast of All Saints? Really, that's all I have to say. If you want to make the argument that All Saints' Day is pagan or Halloween is pagan, then first you have to prove your claim with historical veracity, and even then, it's widely disputed. But even if you make your argument and you are correct, my point is, so what? What does that prove? Nothing really, except that where the Church exists, there will always be festivals and merrymaking. Catholicism does not obliterate culture. She absorbs it and purifies it. You can even say that she baptizes it. She divests herself of whatever might be evil in the pagan celebration and lifts up and preserves and celebrates the good. What's so wrong with that?